We've just completed adding and subtracting polynomials, so now we're moving on to multiplying. And the way we're going to multiply is binomials times binomials. And so there's a certain set of steps that we need for that. So if you'll take a look on your workbook on page 211, we have something called the FOIL method. You may have heard about it before, but basically what it is a mnemonic device for these 4 letters. F stands for first, O stands for outside, I then stands for inside, and then L stands for last. So the reason you need that is when you're multiplying something like this. So let's say x minus 3 times x plus 2. Okay, that's a binomial times a binomial. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the first, which is x, and we're going to multiply by the first and the second one. So basically we do x times x. That's what the first stands for. The outside is this outside term and the outside term here, which would be like that. So basically you can look at it as distributing the x. That would be the outside. And then we have the inside is going to be the negative 3 times x. That would be the inside. And then the last is this negative 3 times 2. So one way you could look at it is like that, like taking the x and distributing it, then taking the negative 3 and distribute it. Yeah, that's it. Now what we're going to do is they're showing you here some notes for a specific question. So the question they're starting with is x plus 1 times x plus 2. And so what we're going to do is work out kind of how they have it there, but I'm going to show you a different way that has stacking. So here I'm going to use the green and show you what the first looks like. So the first is going to be to take this x times this x. So the first would be x times x, and x times x, you add the exponents, which would be x squared. Okay, then we're going to take this blue here, and I'll show you, that would be the first. The outside is going to be this x times 2, which is 2x. So basically you're taking the first term in the first set and multiplying it to the second set. Okay, then what we're going to do is take the second one, this 1, and distribute it. So this will be 1 times x, which is going to be 1x. And what I like to do is stack it right up under the one before it, so that it puts it in line when I get ready to add like terms. And then this last step is going to be the last. So it would be 1 times negative 2. That's the last term in each set is what the last means. So 1 times 2 would be 2. And then when I add that together, I get x squared plus 3x plus 2. Okay, and that would be your final answer. And what I would suggest you do, we're going to use 1, 2, and 3 as notes. So I would suggest that you maybe try a couple of the steps by yourself, like pause the video, try it, and then watch the video and see if you're doing it in the right direction. Try a little bit of that pausing and stopping and going back on your own as much time as you need, because the objective in these 3 questions is to know how to do this so that you can do the next set. All right, so where we're going to start is with this x value. I'm going to distribute here, so I get x squared. Then I'm going to distribute it to the second term, which would be a negative 1x. And I don't generally write the 1, so I'm going to leave it as negative x. Then I'm going to take this negative 2 and distribute that. And I'm going to write it right up under here. So it'll be like negative 2x. Now they're stacked, so I can add them later. And then negative 2 times negative 1 is a positive 2. And so when I add these straight down, I'm going to have a final answer of x squared minus 3x plus 2. Okay. So maybe this would be a good time for you to try number 2 and then just watch the video when you get stuck. I'm going to take this b. This will be b squared. And then plus 2b. Now the negative 3 will be negative 3b minus 6. When I add that straight down, my final answer is b squared minus b minus 6. Again, I would try the same thing for 3, maybe do a little bit of it on your own and then come back and see how you did. So this would be g squared plus 4g plus 2g plus 6. Add straight down and I have my final answer here. Right. So I urge you at this point, if you had any questions, to go back and watch without writing so you can take care of any issues you may have had. And this one, I would like for you to pause the video, try number 4 after you have a final answer, then play it and see if you got the right answer. So pause the video now. Okay, the way you would do 4 is you should have 2a squared, because a times 2a would be 2a squared, and then plus 5a, and then minus 2a and minus 5. That gets me, if I add straight down, this should have been your final answer for number 4. If not, that's okay. Find your error and then correct it for the next one. Okay, so here we're going to get 3n squared plus 3n minus 4n minus 4. And there's your final answer for 5. If you need to go back, of course, please do so and correct any errors. And now I'm going to distribute R. And when we add straight down, we get 3R's. Okay, perfect. Please raise your hand and ask if you have any questions. Thank you for paying attention to that, and I hope that you got some good notes. Now there's a practice worksheet that I'd like for you to work on. If you could do me a favor, go ahead and put your phones away so that I know that you're complete, and then either raise your hand or I'll come over and bring to you your sheet. Good luck, and thank you for listening.